For years, I've been told that you just gotta do things. You just gotta try things. You gotta put yourself out there. You gotta have more experiences. And that's kind of the key to life. That's what it's all about. Which isn't wrong, but I remember going through a pattern where I'd be picking up new hobbies and trying new things out and doing them for a while. For example, I picked up, I talked about before, I picked up Muay Thai. Man, I've tried a lot of things. I've done rollerblading. I've tried to learn Spanish. I've played a few instruments, ukulele, play the flute, play a little bit of drums. Man, the list goes on and on. I've picked up so many things. I've kind of dived into so many topics. And to be honest with you, I'll enjoy them and they're fun. But I don't know if I've ever felt like meaning or depth from a lot of them. And looking back on it now, I think it's because I was really just dabbling in them. Where I would pick up these new interests or hobbies just to kind of say I was doing them. And I would never go far enough with them to really get anything meaningful out of the experience. So, like for Muay Thai, for example, I would go like once a week, maybe twice a week, and I'd be doing that for a good amount of time. To the point where people would ask me, like, hey, how's Muay Thai going? Are you going to do a fight soon? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, what do you mean? Like, you've been going for some years now. And I just wasn't putting enough into it to actually progress and kind of see it through to its natural conclusion, like reaching real heights and accomplishments within the activity that I was doing. And I think it was the same. I was dabbling in Spanish for ages, years, and just kind of having fun with like very low level conversational Spanish, kind of saying words every now and again, like just for a joke almost, but never spending enough time on it to really be conversational, be confident speaking Spanish. So I just never got much from it. It's like all the time I've ever put into it was kind of wasted, honestly, and that because I didn't commit to it and I was just kind of beating around the bush with it, the experience wasn't very meaningful or didn't have too much depth to it. And I would do that over and over again with everything I mentioned before and a lot more. And there was a long time where I would tell myself, like, I think I'm just a Renaissance man. I thought I was like a Leonardo da Vinci type where I knew a little bit about a lot of things. So I'd have kind of shallow knowledge in a super deep pool. And I was not a Renaissance man because I was not painting the Mona Lisa. I was not building flying machines. I wasn't accomplishing any wonders. I was just kind of dipping my toes in that pool. I wasn't seeing anything through to its natural conclusion. I wasn't putting enough into anything to get much out of it. Man, life is all about, you really do. It's a cliche, but you get back what you put into it, man. So when I was just beating around the bush, I realized that I think I was doing myself a disservice mentally because what I was doing was really stacking up like little quits, little failed endeavors, or little like halfway commits, half measures. It's almost like I had a graveyard of projects and concepts that I had dipped my toes into and then never saw through, never made it to the other side. Do you guys remember Professor Calamitous from Jimmy Neutron? He was like a little evil professor guy. And he was one of Jimmy's arch enemies, actually. But his whole problem was that he would lock up Jimmy and the gang, and then he would lock him up in a cage, and they would just walk through the bars because he couldn't finish anything. His curse was that he was like the halfway guy. He'd have these evil plans, and then he couldn't see them through to their conclusion, so he could never really make anything happen. And in the show, it's hilarious. It's like, what's wrong with this guy? And then as some years go on, I'm like, man, I almost feel for that guy. Like sometimes I'm starting to feel like Professor Calamitous in the way that I'm just stacking up these like abandoned projects and ideas and interests that I just never went far enough into to say like, yeah, I'm a Muay Thai fighter. Yeah, I'm a Spanish speaker. Yeah, I'm a ukulele player. I can't add any of these things to my resume of sorts because I just didn't commit to them hard enough to see them through the other side, man. So, as far as practical advice, this is something I caught myself doing, just dabbling for a long time. And the only way out is through, and that you have to pick a few things that catch your interest and then just commit to going all in on them. Like seeing them through. No matter what happens, I like this enough. I'm going to actually put my heart and soul on the line here. I'm going to fully commit to this. I'm going to put the time in and I'm going to see what I get out of it. That's the only way you can have meaningful experiences, man. When you really, commit to something, when you go all in on it. And I think my whole thing with dabbling and that kind of trait of doing that is honestly a fear of commitment, and that I don't want to pick up a hobby or pick up an interest and then not be that good at it. And it's almost like an embarrassment to myself, and that I spent time on something, I was interested in it, but I wasn't good enough at it to show it off. And so it's like I'd rather just kind of halfway commit to it and dip my toes in the water and pretend to be interested in it, or pretend that I'm really doing it, than actually, put myself out there and willing to be embarrassed and try something and not be that great at it. So I really think it's kind of an avoidance thing. It's like I'm just avoiding the commitment there. And so I decided at a certain point, if I'm interested in it, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to fully commit to it. I'm going to put in the days, put in the months, however long it takes, the time to really see something through and say, hey, I did this, win, lose, or draw. I committed to it. I can confidently look back and say, I put it all on the line. And that way, the experiences are much more meaningful. Just the depth you're getting from what you're doing is more real. And you can look back and be proud of what you actually put your time into, instead of looking back on a graveyard of kind of half-committed endeavors. So, something to keep in mind. I appreciate y'all.